All right, today we're embarking on a bit of a detective's journey. We are going to explore exactly how to find the hidden stories buried within our data. How? By finding the absolute best fitting line through it using RStudio. We're going to take some pretty complex math and break it down into visual, totally manageable pieces.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, what is regression? Second, building the model in RStudio. Third, reading the results. Fourth, R-squared and p-value. Fifth, residuals and diagnostics. And finally, our conclusion.
Section 1. What is regression? Let's start with the core concept. So at its heart, simple linear regression uses a method called ordinary least squares, or OLS. Now, I know that sounds a bit intimidating, but it's actually quite elegant. Imagine you've got a scatter plot of data points right in front of you. If you were to take a ruler and try to draw a straight line right through the middle of them, how would you actually know it's the best line? Well, OLS is basically the mathematical version of that ruler. It calculates the absolute shortest distance between all those individual data points and your line. It minimizes those distances, the least squares, to give you the single best fitting trend line.
Section 2. Building the model in RStudio. Building a regression model in R basically comes down to a really straightforward four-step workflow. First, you load your dataset. Second, you fit the model using the LM function, which, you guessed it, stands for linear model. Third, we ask R for a summary of those results. And finally, we plot the results so we can visually inspect them. Once you have this clear mental map, the actual coding process is a breeze. And here is the exact syntax you'd use to build that simple linear regression model in R. We're looking at a dataset here called Album 2, which tracks music album sales alongside advertising budgets. To find out if advertising actually predicts those sales, we type LM, open parentheses, and write sales, a tilde, and adverts. That little tilde basically means is predicted by. So we are literally asking R, hey, can album sales be predicted by advertising using the data from the Album 2 dataset? We then save that entire calculation into an object called model. Pretty simple, right?
Section 3. Reading the results. Now, what's really interesting about this is the interrogation phase.
Let's decode the output. When you run that summary command, you get this big block of text that can honestly look a little overwhelming at first glance. But let's just focus on the coefficients table, because this is the absolute goldmine. The first row is the intercept. This tells us that if our advertising budget was exactly 0, the model estimates we'd still have about 3.46 units of sales. But that second row, that is where the magic happens. The estimate for adverts is 0.6333. This means for every single unit increase in our advertising budget, album sales go up by approximately 0.63 units. And that standard error right next to it, that just tells us the average amount this estimate might vary. You're literally reading the mathematical relationship between your variables.
Section 4. R-squared and p-value. Let's talk about model accuracy. Okay, so we have a line and we have our estimates, but we really need to know how much of the overall story is our model actually telling us. Like, is this a good model or is it kind of weak? To figure that out, we look at the bottom of our R output for the multiple R-squared value. In our album sales example, it's 0.3346. So what does that mean in plain English? It means that approximately 33.5% of the variance, meaning the changes or fluctuations, in album sales can be directly explained by how much was spent on advertising. The remaining 66.5%, well, that's caused by other factors we just haven't included in this simple model. Think radio airplay or maybe just the band's overall image. Right next to that R-squared, you're going to find the p-value. Our data here shows a p-value of less than 2.2 e-16, and you'll notice it's accompanied by 3 little asterisks. In R, those 3 stars are essentially a flashing neon sign screaming, highly significant. A p-value this incredibly tiny means the probability of getting these results simply by random chance is practically 0. It proves that the relationship we found between advertising and sales is statistically significant. There's almost no way it's just a coincidence. So we have a model. It explains a third of our sales data, and it's highly statistically significant. But before we go rushing off to the marketing department with these findings, we have to ask ourselves a really critical question. How do we make absolutely sure this model is flawless? How do we know we aren't just being tricked by the math?
Section 5. Residuals and diagnostics. Time for a health check.
Look, building a regression model without actually checking its underlying assumptions is a total rookie mistake. To ensure our model is trustworthy, we absolutely have to perform some essential diagnostic checks. First up, residuals analysis. Residuals are simply the errors of our model. It's the exact difference between what our model predicted and what the actual data point was. We also use specific statistical tests, like the Jark-Barrett test to check if these errors are normally distributed, and we use the Longbox test to check for autocorrelation. The secret to knowing if your model is trustworthy is actually hidden entirely within its errors. Let's look a little closer at those errors. What we desperately want to see in our residuals is white noise. White noise means the errors are completely random. They're unpredictable, just bouncing around zero without any sort of discernible pattern. If your errors are white noise, congratulations, it means your model has successfully captured all the underlying structure of the data. Conversely, if you see autocorrelation, meaning the errors follow a clear pattern, maybe drifting up and then drifting down, it means your model is fundamentally flawed. It means you've missed a really significant variable or trend that is still lingering there in the errors. And this leads us to a vital warning about something called spurious regression. You could have a fantastic, very high R-squared, but it might be completely meaningless if there is no logical cause and effect. A classic example of this is comparing ice cream sales and crime rates. If you run a regression on that, you'll actually find a strong positive relationship. As ice cream sales go up, so does crime. But obviously, one doesn't cause the other. They're both simply reacting to the heat of summer. It's a total statistical illusion. You always have to use logic alongside your code. Now, for those of you who might prefer a visual interface over typing out manual code for every single test, there's a great alternative. The R Commander package offers a really simple drop-down menu. You literally just click on Models, navigate down to Numerical Diagnostics, and you can easily run tests like the Durbin-Watson test for autocorrelation or Bruce-Pagan for heteroscedasticity. It is a fantastic time-saving tool to keep in your diagnostic toolkit.
Section 6, Conclusion and Next Steps.
So the crucial point I want you to take away from this explainer is that running a regression is about so much more than just typing a formula. It's a complete, start-to-finish analytical process. Just to quickly recap. First, simple linear regression uses OLS to find that best-fitting line through your data. Second, RStudio makes it incredibly accessible using the LM function, perfectly formatted as y tilde x. Third, we read the R-squared to see exactly how much variance is explained, and the p-value to ensure it's significant. And finally, and honestly most importantly, we must always run residual diagnostics. This ensures our errors are just random white noise, which protects us from making spurious, false conclusions. You now have the structured knowledge and the complete workflow to act as a true data detective. You know exactly how to build the model, read the results, and rigorously interrogate the assumptions. So I'll leave you with this thought. Right now, what secret is your data hiding? I highly encourage you to open up RStudio, load in a dataset of your own, and start interrogating it for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.